The footsteps belonged to Mikasa. She had learned from Frieda that Eren survived and wanted to see him for herself. Eren's mind is still foggy from the transformation. From his perspective, one minute he was fighting titans, and the next minute he's back home. Mikasa tells Eren everything she knows, but he doesn't believe her. It doesn't make any sense, him being a titan. But then he remembers the moment he transformed, and the joy he felt as he was slaughtering titans. This train of thought leads his mind somewhere else. What happened to the smaller titan? Mikasa is startled by the seemingly random question, but recognizes he's talking about the titan that chased after him. She has no idea. In fact, no one in the walls understands where that titan came from. As Eren exits his bed, Mikasa tells him he's not allowed to leave. Frieda forbade it. He asks for an explanation, but Mikasa doesn't have one. Right now, neither of them are allowed to leave, because Eren's survival is currently being kept secret, and Rod Race is very concerned about the risks posed by Eren's titan powers. He's Grisha's son after all. What happens if he continues his father's work and tries to kill them all? The Race family had known for a while that Eren inherited Grisha's titan, but up until now, Eren didn't know he had titan powers, so they didn't feel that they were in too much danger. Plus, Frieda reassured them that Eren wouldn't remember, and the word of God is absolute. Frieda understands why her family is concerned, but deep down, she's hoping Eren kills her, so she needs him to unlock Grisha's memories. However, she can't admit that to anyone, especially her own family. Frieda reassures her family that she'll deal with Eren once he becomes a threat, and she'll alter the memory of anyone that draws a connection between him and their family. While the former is obviously a lie, the latter is something Frieda intends to do. She was already gathering allies to avenge Historia. Protecting her family in the process isn't that difficult. It just requires her to be more discreet and more thorough in her memory alteration. Once Frieda calms her family down, Eren and Mikasa are allowed to leave the Race estate. Mikasa tries to talk Eren out of doing anything hasty, as people will freak out when they learn he survived, but she's rebuffed. Eren still doesn't understand what's going on, but he realizes he has the power to change everything, and he can't just sit around. First, he goes straight to Frieda. He wants to know who brought him back, and upon seeing her, the memory of Grisha begging him to kill her flashes before his eyes. Only this time, he doesn't forget it. It doesn't make sense to him though. Why would Grisha want Frieda dead? Her family saved them when Walmeria was destroyed. Frieda notices Eren struggling, and she asks him what's going on. And when he tells her, she freezes up. More than anything, she wants to tell him Grisha was right, and that she deserves to die. But when she responds, she tells Eren it was just a dream, and that he shouldn't dwell on it. Frieda doesn't understand why those words came out. Is she still scared to die, even after everything? Eren tries to dismiss the vision from his head, but he can't. Instead, he remembers the time in the chapel when Frieda told him Titans killing everyone was divine retribution, and he remembers how unnatural his rage was. It was as if he heard it all before. What exactly was Frieda's relationship to Grisha, he wonders. Did she have a hand in his disappearance? Eren doesn't tell Frieda these thoughts, and instead keeps them to himself to think about later. Frieda would later tell Ymir about Eren, and her plans to let Eren kill her for the greater good, and Ymir does not take the suggestion well. In the original series, Ymir hated Historia's martyrdom mentality, and in this story, she hates it when it comes from Frieda as well. As why would anyone need to die for the greater good? Ymir attempts to reassure Frieda that the vow can be broken if she keeps fighting, and threatens to deal with Eren if she tries to let him kill her. Right now, Ymir is the only person that Frieda can lean on to handle all the pressure, and Ymir's only goal is making sure that Frieda survives and can somehow live for herself again. Eren's survival eventually becomes public knowledge, and he's arrested. But because of Frieda's influence, the charges are dropped, and the royal government even begins advertising Eren as the savior humanity has been waiting for. Frieda pulls this off by preaching to the church about Eren's value, and altering the memory of those who disagree, and then ordering the royal council plus King Fritz to follow along. Frieda also uses her influence to pull Ymir from the scouts and makes her essentially a personal guard. She does this to protect herself from Kenny and the Marleyan Titan shifters who she knows infiltrated the walls, but who she's also powerless to confront. During one of Frieda's sermons, Kenny pulls her aside to speak to her. He's still unsure about killing Uri's reincarnate, and is hoping this conversation could shed light on if Uri's still in there. He starts off by bringing up Ymir, who Frieda has been bringing along to every council meeting and sermon. He asks Frieda if she's saving her, just like she saved him. Kenny is testing if she remembers their friendship. Remember, Kenny doesn't understand how the Founding Titan works, or how Titan inheritance works, so testing Frieda's memory is his only way to determine if Uri is still in there. Frieda, now face to face with Historia's killer, can barely hide her disgust, so she gives a brief response and says she spared him to see if two enemies can become friends, while Ymir was saved for another reason. Kenny pauses for a moment before dismissing himself without asking for details. He's someone who's very aware of his surroundings, and he's noticed Ymir watching him from a distance, and has realized that Frieda doesn't trust him. After thinking about Frieda's response for a bit, Kenny finally makes his decision. Uri does live on in her, but it's Frieda who's in control, and ultimately, Kenny's desire for power overcomes his shame in killing his friend's reincarnate. He reports to the Royal Council that Frieda is suspicious of him, and if they don't make their move now, she might kill him first. The nobles are getting cold feet about confronting Frieda. She's the ultimate being after all. Is it even possible to fight back? Should they reaffirm their loyalties before Frieda kills them as well? Kenny tells them that it's too late to turn back. Somehow Frieda has uncovered the plan, and it's only a matter of time before they're all dealt with. In reality, Frieda doesn't know of the plan. She only knows that Kenny killed Historia, and the nobles are frustrated with her. But Kenny has no way of knowing that. The nobles think about it some more. There's no other option now, and no time to wait for the perfect opportunity. They order Kenny to head for the Race estate, while they confront Frieda themselves. While all of this was happening, the warriors have been stalking the Race estate, trying to uncover who possesses the Founding Titan, and they've narrowed it down to two: Rod and Frieda. Rod because he's the head of the household, and the line of succession would make most sense if he possessed it, and planned on passing it down to his eldest children. And for Frieda, at first none of the warriors suspected her, because she dresses like a farmer, and hangs around the poor. Then Ani noticed Frieda constantly moving between the Capitol building and the church. Plus, they've noticed Ymir hovering around Frieda. From their time in the cadets, the warriors knew that Ymir was looking for someone, and it can't be a coincidence that she's now hanging around Frieda. In fact, everything makes more sense if Frieda possesses the Founding Titan. So the warriors ultimately decide that she's their target, and begin waiting for an opportunity to capture her. Ani wants to attack as soon as possible, while Reiner wants to wait. If they assume Ymir was the one who saved Eren, that would mean the Founding, Jaw, and Attack Titan are all in one place. Reiner believes if they play their cards right, they could capture all three, either in a single battle, or by picking them off one by one. He believes their biggest advantage is that only Eren's Titan form is public knowledge. That means they could capture Frieda and Ymir, and not risk any pursuers. It's for that reason that the warriors decide to leave Eren for last. Frieda and Ymir will be their first targets. All that's left is waiting for the moment they're isolated. With Eren's Titan form now public, and the Survey Corps being given full authority over him, Erwin is able to speak to him. Like in the original series, he believes Eren is a valuable asset. The main difference is, this Erwin's primary concern is another memory wipe. So he wants to use Eren to flush out the other Titan shifters, retake Wall Rose, and overthrow the government as soon as possible. Erwin doesn't mention the memory wipe to Eren, but instead explains how important Eren's Titan transformation will be in liberating Wall Rose. Eren is nervous, but he's excited at the prospect of humanity finally winning. He tells Erwin everything he knows, including Grisha's final request to him. While in the original series, Grisha's basement was the main thing that intrigued Erwin, this time it's the mysteries behind Frieda. This is for two reasons. One, Grisha's basement is in Shiganshina, and that will require liberating Wall Rose and Wall Mario to reach, which Erwin knows will take time. And secondly, as mentioned earlier, the primary threat to Erwin is another memory wipe. Under that threat, he can't make any long-term plans. Eren hasn't given Erwin any proof that Frieda is behind the memory wipes, but considering Eren's transformation and Grisha's final words, Erwin believes that this Frieda figure is worth looking into. Erwin decides to make Grisha's basement public knowledge, while only revealing Grisha's final words to the scouts he trusts the most. He orders them to gather as much information as they could about the Race family before they make their move. Frieda is called into a royal council meeting. Ymir is waiting outside the throne room in case of an ambush. It's late at night, and all of Walsina is asleep. Just outside the palace, Reiner and Ani lie in wait, prepare to attack them when they return home. And at the Race estate, Kenny is stalking the area waiting to attack. But, unbeknownst to all of them, Erwin has begun the secret operation to capture Frieda Race. It's a small team, composed entirely of scouts, who joined before Walmeria fell. Eren and Mikasa are also a part of the mission. They were in disbelief when Erwin revealed the plan, and swore up and down that Frieda wasn't the enemy. But deep down, they knew something was off about her. Her mental instability, her belief that humanity was sinful, her affiliation with the church, and Grisha's final words about her. Erwin knows this is a massive gamble, but doesn't have any other option. Humanity can't look outwards with enemies within. Even if they're against God himself, they have to win.